They thought they hit an animal. They didn't know it would unleash hell. A creature of legend turned into a product, and they paid the price. This is Death of a Unicorn, recapped. The film opens with Elliot and Ridley. They appear to have just landed safely in Canada. From there, they continue their journey toward the remote estate of Elliot's boss, Odell Leopold, located deep in the Canadian mountains. Along the way, we hear them talk, and it becomes clear that Elliot and Ridley don't exactly share a close bond. In fact, it seems like Ridley was only brought along because Elliot needed her there. Yes, he needs Ridley, because Odell's family wants to get to know Elliot's family more personally. Elliot had told his boss about the supposedly strong connection he shares with his daughter, especially after his wife passed away. Elliot is now in line to be named vice president at Odell's massive pharmaceutical company. As they drive through the remote wilderness, Elliot struggles with allergies, constantly sneezing. Ridley, on the other hand, is visibly bored and disengaged, unimpressed by the whole trip. Then, suddenly, Elliot accidentally hits a baby unicorn with the car. They pull over and cautiously approach the creature. To their surprise, the unicorn is still alive, weak but breathing. For some reason, Ridley feels drawn to it. Its horn begins to glow softly, almost invitingly. She reaches out and touches it. In an instant, she's transported into a cosmic realm, surrounded by visions of something vast. But suddenly, Elliot, striking the creature, beating it repeatedly, desperately trying to end its suffering. Eventually, they arrive at the remote estate of Odell Leopold's family, where they're greeted by Odell's son, Shepard, and Odell's wife, Belinda. Belinda leads them into the house to meet Odell, who is clearly not well. Stricken with cancer, his body is frail. Odell, trying to remain composed, asks why it took them so long to get there. Elliot answers calmly that everything went smoothly. But Ridley's face tells a different story, tense, uneasy, and haunted by what happened earlier with the unicorn. Noticing her discomfort, Odell turns to her gently. Ridley hesitates, then says she doesn't feel very well. Shepard comments that her face looks dirty. Elliot quickly jumps in, suggesting Ridley wash her face. Ridley heads to the bathroom to clean her face. Her face is smeared with dried blood, the blood of the unicorn. Curious, she takes a cloth stained with the unicorn's blood and gently dabs it onto a patch of acne on her cheek. In an instant, the blemishes vanish, but then a wave of dizziness hits her. Back in the car, the unicorn's body begins to stir. Its horn lights up again, and one of its legs twitches. Meanwhile, Elliot is in the middle of pitching his proposal to Odell, Belinda, and Shepard. He reads through the presentation with his glasses on, but something's off. His vision blurs. Frustrated, he takes them off. He's clearly eager to seal the deal, hoping they'll approve his proposal so he can finally be named vice president of their pharmaceutical company. But Odell doesn't rush. He wants to take his time to be sure that Elliot is truly the right person to carry the company forward.
Dad.
Suddenly, Ridley calls out her father. She insists they need to leave immediately. Something is wrong, something bad is coming, and it has to do with the unicorn. But Elliot won't have it. He tells her to calm down. If they leave now, the deal is off. He leans in and whispers to her that tonight, when everyone's asleep, he'll bury the unicorn. Out of nowhere, the vehicle shakes violently, as if something inside is trying to break free. Panic flashes across Elliot's face. He quickly excuses himself, telling Odell that Ridley isn't feeling well, that she might need to be taken to the hospital. But Odell isn't buying it. He senses something's off. Elliot is hiding something. That lousy noise, drawing the attention of Shaw, the family's head of security. She immediately calls for Shepard. Shepard approaches her and watches Elliot's car is rocks and shaking. Suspicious, he turns to Elliot, asking if there's something wrong with the car. Moments later, the car alarm suddenly goes off. Everyone rushes outside, now drawn to the noise, to finally see what the hell is going on. Without warning, the baby unicorn smashes through the car window. It freezes everyone in place. Shaw doesn't hesitate. She draws her gun and fires, a clean shot to the unicorn's head. Silence follows, and everyone gathers around the small broken body. He confesses that during their journey, he hit the unicorn with his car and decided to end its suffering. Ridley speaks up next. She explains that her face had been stained with the unicorn's blood, and when she wiped it on her acne, her skin instantly cleared. Elliot adds his own strange discovery. Some of the unicorn's blood had splashed into his eyes, and suddenly he could see clearly again. Even his allergies gone. That's when something shifts in Odell. A spark of interest, a sense of purpose. If its blood can do all that, then maybe it holds the key to curing every disease known to man. He turns to the others and calmly suggests running a few tests, mentioning he'll bring in his top researchers. Later that night, while resting in her room, Ridley scrolls through old photos on her phone. Quiet moments with her late mother. Each image brings back a memory until one catches her eye. It's a photo of her mom standing in front of a large tapestry featuring a unicorn. Curious, she opens her laptop and starts digging. She searches for the history behind the unicorn tapestry and soon uncovers its haunting backstory. The tapestries serve as a cautionary tale. Many hunters and kings tried to capture the unicorn but failed until a fair maiden lured it in. Once subdued, the unicorn was killed, taken to a castle, resurrected, and held in captivity. But there's more. One particular tapestry, the one depicting the maiden and the unicorn, had been partially destroyed during the French Revolution. When it was later reconstructed, the unicorn wasn't shown as a peaceful creature anymore. It was reborn as something else, a vengeful, monstrous being. The next morning, Ridley and Elliot are brought in for testing to examine how the unicorn's blood is affecting their bodies. Later, during a private presentation, the company's lead researcher, Dr. Song, joined by Dr. Bhatia, explains their findings. They reveal that the unicorn's horn emits bioelectric signals unlike anything seen in nature. Even more astonishing, the powdered dust from the horn might hold even greater healing properties than the blood itself. Shepard and Odell are both eager to move forward. Desperate for a cure, Odell volunteers to be the first human test subject. He agrees to have the powdered unicorn horn infused directly into his bloodstream. The researchers carefully prepare the serum, melting the fine dust into liquid form and connecting it to Odell's IV. As the fluid flows into his veins, Elliot watches nervously and asks how he's feeling. Odell manages a weak smile and says he believes it's going to work. He thanks Elliot for giving him hope. One last time, Belinda gently places a hand on his shoulder, and then she and Elliot quietly step out, leaving Odell alone to rest. Meanwhile, Ridley remains focused on her research into the unicorn tapestry. She senses there's something important hidden in the history. Shepard decides to lend a hand. He calls over his servant Griff and asks him to bring a large printer. He admits he's a visual learner and suggests that if Ridley can compile all her findings, they can present them to his parents. And then, to everyone's shock, Odell appears, completely healed. The frail man from the day before now walks with strength and full of energy. Dr. Song confirms the impossible. The unicorn's horn may genuinely hold the key to curing cancer. The entire Leopold family erupts in joy and celebration. Odell, now revitalized and firmly in command, wastes no time issuing new orders. The unicorn's body is to be transported to company headquarters immediately, where it will undergo full-scale research and development. His vision is clear: replicate the compound found in the horn and do it fast. The objective isn't just science, it's profit. He wants to turn this discovery into a miracle product, but Dr. Song steps in with a warning. The protein sequence inside the unicorn's horn is unlike anything they've ever seen, far too intricate to recreate in a lab. Which means one thing: they only have a single source, and that source is already dead. The reality begins to settle in. This cure can't be scaled. It can't be manufactured. There's only enough for a select few, and those few will be the wealthy, the powerful, the ones who can afford it. They start contacting wealthy acquaintances, people battling illnesses money alone can't cure. With barely contained excitement, they speak of a miraculous remedy that can heal almost anything. While everyone is caught up in the rush of potential profits, Ridley tries to speak. She wants to share what she's discovered, the ancient warnings hidden within the unicorn tapestries, but no one listens. Their minds are already chasing dollar signs. Frustrated, she finally raises her voice and interrupts. She tells them what the tapestries truly mean. The unicorn wasn't a creature of peace. It was hunted, manipulated, and feared. Every attempt to tame it ended in ruin. The creature was never meant to be harvested. It should have been released. To them, throwing away such a rare and valuable discovery over an old myth is absurd. Still, Ridley doesn't back down. She can't shake the feeling, a deep, gnawing sense that keeping the body of baby unicorn was a mistake. Irritated, Odell turns to Elliot and urges him to set his daughter straight. Elliot, he dismisses Ridley's concerns, assuring everyone that they're doing the right thing. Ridley is stunned. Her father, the one person she thought might understand, has chosen his ambition over her. Still burning with anger, Ridley storms out of the house and makes her way to the car. Meanwhile, the rest of the group prepares to move the baby unicorn's body through a tunnel. A sudden blackout throws the entire estate into darkness. Even the mobile phone suddenly died. At the same time, the electromagnetic signal monitors begin to spike. Odell, unsettled, quickly orders Elliot to check what's going on. Elliot heads into the tunnel. As he moves deeper inside, he sees something horrifying. Dr. Song is motionless. A large horn has impaled him straight through the chest. A massive shadow looms from outside tunnel. The silhouette of a unicorn, far larger than the baby. Outside tunnel, Shaw and her security team don't wait for orders. They draw their weapons and open fire, aiming toward that creature. From inside the car, Ridley watches in horror as chaos erupts outside. She scans the dark surroundings, sensing that something isn't right, and she's right. Without warning, a massive unicorn slams into the side of the vehicle. In a panic, Ridley hits the car horn, drawing Shaw and the other guards to the scene. They open fire. Elliot rushes to the car, pulls the door open, and quickly helps Ridley out, pushing her underneath the car for safety. One by one, the guards are overpowered. The creature is too fast, too strong. It tears through them without hesitation. There's only one choice now: run. Ridley bolts, and somehow she's fast. Faster than anyone would have thought. She races through the grounds, reaching the wooden gate just in time, slamming it shut behind her. The unicorn stops. Its eyes meet Ridley's, not with rage, but recognition. As if it sees her, as if it trusts her. It steps forward, slowly, extending its glowing horn toward her, inviting her to touch it. But the moment is shattered by a single gunshot. Shaw, standing behind, fires and hits the unicorn. The creature lets out a cry of pain, then turns and vanishes into the woods, leaving behind a trail of blood. Back inside the house, the survivors regroup. They begin to discuss their next move. Ridley is clear in her stance. She says they never should have kept the baby unicorn's body, and now they need to let that thing go. But Odell disagrees. In his mind, the attack was unfortunate, but also revealing. The larger unicorn is injured and out there, vulnerable. If they can capture it, they could harvest it, just as they did the baby. To Odell, this is about securing the future, for medicine, for business, for legacy. Belinda quickly aligns with him. She argues that capturing the adult unicorn could help millions, maybe even save the world. She doesn't see it as cruelty, she sees it as purpose. Elliot, still chasing status within the company, agrees without hesitation. They begin gearing up for the hunt, weapons in hand, flashlights ready. Ridley, desperate, tries to stop her father. She pleads with him not to go, begging him to see reason. But Elliot, already blinded by his ambition. Meanwhile, Shepard, consumed by curiosity and greed, retrieves a vial filled with powdered unicorn horn. Without hesitation, he scatters some of the powder into the desk and inhales it deeply. Within seconds, his body responds. The look on his face says it all. The horn is powerful, and now he wants more. Back inside, Ridley pores over the ancient prints of the unicorn tapestry once again, hoping she missed something. As she scans the images, the meaning becomes clear. The unicorn wasn't just hunted and killed. It was resurrected, brought back from death. Terrified, Ridley sends a message to her father, warning him to turn back immediately. Shepard, still high from the powdered horn, takes things further. He orders Dr. Batia to begin cutting the baby unicorn's horn, to extract more of the precious dust. As the saw grinds against the horn begins to glow. Deep in the forest, the hunting party moves quietly, unaware that they're being watched. Without warning, the massive unicorn emerges from the shadows and strikes. Shaw is the first to fall. The creature lunges, biting into her and dragging her body into the darkness. The rest of the group barely has time to react. Another guard is taken down almost instantly, his body tossed aside like a rag doll. Only two manage to survive the ambush, Odell and Elliot. Somehow, they make it out of the woods and back to the estate. But their relief is short-lived. They're not alone. Two unicorns follow them, and for the first time, it becomes clear. These aren't just wild creatures. These are the parents of the baby unicorn that was killed. Odell, now cornered, tries to regain control. He speaks to the unicorns with calm, as if he can reason with them. He slowly reaches out, attempting to touch the horn, to assert dominance. But the creature doesn't hesitate. Odell is killed instantly. The remaining group scrambles to form a plan. Elliot grabs his phone and tries to call the police, but before the call even connects, the power goes out. The house is plunged into darkness, and the phone signal vanishes. Desperate to calm the creatures, they decide to return the baby unicorn's body, hoping it might stop the rampage. But then Belinda speaks up. The power outage has shut down the estate's electric gates. Even if they return the body, the unicorns and everyone else are still trapped inside. So they split the mission. Griff have a job to manually open the gate from the outside. A dangerous task, but their only hope. Meanwhile, Dr. Batia is assigned to deliver the baby unicorn's body back to its parents, an even more terrifying responsibility, with no promise of survival. As the plan sets into motion, Belinda starts the car, ready for a fast exit, but then she realizes something's wrong. Her son, Shepard, is missing. Panicked, she rushes back into the house. Unbeknownst to her, she's left behind a capsule, one that contains the horn of the baby unicorn. Upstairs, Shepard, completely intoxicated by the powdered horn, is still inhaling it, surrounded by printed tapestry pages. Outside, Griff reaches the gate and begins unlocking it manually, while the unicorn parents, looking their child's horn has been taken, grow even more furious. Dr. Batia stands frozen, confused and overwhelmed. She glances between the silent, looming creatures in front of her and the others watching anxiously. The plan was simple: return the body and the unicorns would leave. The creatures don't retreat. They're angry, Without warning, they attack Dr. Bhatia. In an instant, she's killed. Watching from a distance, Griff panics. He turns and bolts through the now open gate. Back in the house, chaos explodes again. Belinda, horrified by the failed plan, turns her fury on Ridley. She blames this was all Ridley's fault. But then Shepard says the only way to control the unicorns is through a fair maiden, and by that he means Ridley. Before anyone can make sense of his words, the unicorns make their next move. They crashes through the doors of the house, searching for their child's missing horn. The group scatters. A chase begins. They run, desperate to survive. Inside a locked room, both Ridley and Elliot can hear the creature prowling outside, while Shepard and Belinda, carrying the horns container, make a run for it, hiding under a table. Shepard suggests they use Ridley to capture the unicorns and breed them. Even in the face of death, his greed is evident, but they soon realize the horn is missing. Turns out Elliot has took it. He tells Ridley he did it to protect her future, keeping a promise he made to her mother. He also expresses regret for not being a better father. Meanwhile, Shepard, now armed with a bow, prepares to face the unicorns. However, one of them grabs his mother and violently kills her in front of him. Shepard stands frozen. He has the chance. The arrow is on fire, is lit, aimed, and ready, but he doesn't shoot, because in his mind, the unicorn is still a resource, a miraculous living cure that could make him more rich. At the same time, Elliot races through the estate, still clutching the baby unicorn's horn. Outside the house, as morning breaks, Ridley tries to escape, but is stopped by Shepard. He uses Ridley as bait for the unicorn, and it works. The fierce black unicorn approaches, but in front of Ridley, it becomes calm, even gentle, and eventually falls asleep with its head in her lap. Shepard quickly takes the chance and ties the creature's legs. Suddenly, Elliot arrives with the second black unicorn. This one also approaches Ridley and, just like the first, curls up and falls asleep on her lap. Again, Shepard wastes no time and ties its legs too. He then tells Elliot that he'll split the profits 50-50 from breeding the unicorns. But Elliot, now changed and no longer driven by greed, suddenly stabs Shepard with the baby unicorn's horn. Shepard reacts fast and stabs Elliot back with one of his arrows. Both of them fall, covered in blood. Shepard, feeling like he's dying, believes he needs the horn and flesh of the unicorn. He tries to crawl toward it, but the unicorn kicks him away instantly. In his last moments, Elliot asks Ridley what she saw when she touched the horn. She finally confesses she saw her mother waiting on the other side. Elliot says he would be happy to reunite with his wife. As Ridley mourns, the unicorns use their mystical power and magically resurrect Elliot and their baby unicorns. Suddenly, the black color on their bodies change into beautiful white unicorns, and they run off into the distance. The police arrive, along with Griff. The police don't believe the story, saying it's too impossible to be real. Elliot and Ridley are taken into the police car as suspects for the chaos that happened. During the ride, the unicorns suddenly appear. As if they can communicate with them, the unicorns help free them by ramming into the police car carrying them. In the end, this movie reminds us that not everything magical is meant to be controlled, and some things are better left untouched. Greed turned a miracle into a nightmare, but in the end, love and sacrifice brought a second chance. If this bizarre, emotional, and wild story caught your attention, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more movie recaps every week. See you in the next movie recap.